The bracket on Liquipedia is official. Alright, so if we can believe the Liquipedia bracket, then that would mean that Rafa and Wenger are on a separate side of the upper bracket. So I would only play against either of them in the upper bracket final if it comes down to that. Otherwise, I would play, my first match would be in round 2 against the winner of Sparty versus Sirius, and then after that I would play against the winner of Avec or SaiGib or SIB. And then in the upper bracket semi-final I would probably play against Killson, unless there is an upset. But for that I would have to make it that far first. And then, yes, I am in paint, don't worry about it. Let's make it, can't really make it any bigger, but I think it's still visible enough. Here, my webcam. I have to do, which one is it? This, there we go. So now I'm looking at there. Oh, actually I forgot about the sub, but I will add the timer after this. Just remind me if I forget. Thank you for the sub, mental. Alright, so let's have a look at this and let's see what do we think about it. So for first round, I think Garpy has a really good chance of advancing. I don't really know how well Danda King plays, and he probably didn't really have much practice experience because he's Australian, so he never really gets to play against anyone. This is from the Liquipedia, this bracket. I'm still unsure whether it's accurate or it isn't, but if it is accurate, then the bracket is gonna look like this for QuakeCon, for QPL finals I mean. And I just wanna have a little fun with it. So I think Garpy has more experience when it comes to playing against strong players, and he has been showing up really well. For example, against Rafa, he almost every time plays against Rafa in the first few rounds of QPL because of seedings. But I think if I'm not biased, I am a little bit biased towards Garpy because I would like for him to win. I have nothing against Danda, but I just want Garpy to do well. But I am a little bit biased as well, but even if I wasn't, I think it is more likely that Garpy is going to win this round. So I'm gonna move him here to advance and play against Killson. And then down here, Dramis versus RMV. RMV is a strong aimer. As much as I know, he's mostly relying on his combat skills. I have played against him and I have practiced against him multiple times, but I just feel like Dramis is a stronger opponent. Dramis is really strong when it comes to moving really fast around the map, especially with characters that allows him to do so, like Slash, Anarchy, Swordleg, Strog as well. So he is very strong because his aim is strong to begin with, and on top of that he can move really well, and he tends to pay attention to item control and timings and all that. RAISY decides the fate of Land Ride on stream. Oh boy. But I think Dramis has more experience, especially on LAN, and he has done really well on Iron Fist as well. So I just think it is more likely that Dramis is going to win this round, in my opinion. So I'm gonna make him advance here. I don't mean any harm against anyone who I don't think is gonna be a winner of a match or whatever, but these are my inner thoughts, and I think that based on my experience and my knowledge when it comes to these players, I think it is more likely for certain people to win in these matchups. But we will see, you know, I might be completely wrong, and there are gonna be upsets, and I will make a fool out of myself here, but you know, this is just what I think. Alright, SaiGib versus Sib. That's a match I'm not really gonna be able to tell. On paper, I believe SaiGib has better results, but at the same time, Sib can be a surprise. Because, for example, the last Quake QPL LAN at Katowice in 2000, what was it? 20, I think, in the beginning of 2020. The last event before Corona, before COVID. Sib actually surprised a few people by beating, I believe it was Nosfer. So he can make upsets happen, but I think SaiGib has just more experience because he was in QPL for longer. So I feel like it is more likely for SaiGib to win that matchup, but it is very easily possible for Sib as well to make an upset here. But I will for now move SaiGib forward. No hard feelings, Sib. And then Sirius versus Sparty. Oh boy. I have seen that clip of Sparty in the latest QPL stream, where he kinda rage quit towards the end. Things were flying on his webcam all over the place. But yeah, he can be really strong, Sparty. His aim can be really good. His rails are almost always on point. And generally he's a strong player. But I feel like for years he hasn't really been taking Quake seriously enough in order to play well and have good results. Even when he has practiced a lot, it still feels like as if he's not putting 100% into it, like his heart is not in it anymore, feels like. But on LAN it can be different. I have lost to Sparty before on LAN, back in 2017 at ESWC, but I just don't think that he's gonna be able to beat Sirius if he starts tilting and raging. Because I feel like as soon as Sirius starts hitting as hard as he does normally, then that's gonna start tilting Sparty, because he's gonna lose situations where he feels like he shouldn't be losing them. Like he's gonna die in situations when he's like so stacked, but because it is Sirius he's gonna play against, I just feel like he will start tilting sooner or later. And as soon as that happens, even if it's map 1 or map 2 or map 3 or whatever, I just feel like it's almost immediately a win for Sirius. And then there's no coming back for Sparty from that point on. Unless he somehow gathers himself between maps, but I just don't know. As much as I love Sparty, I feel like he just gives up too easily. Sirius can tilt as well, but I don't think he will, because he knows it's a really good chance for him, a really good opportunity to show up at the LAN and do really well. And he's gonna aim hard, like his aim is gonna be very, very difficult to deal with. He has shown it before on events that he can aim just as well as online. So that's gonna be tough for Sparty to deal with. I will make serious advance here. I think that's what's gonna happen. Alright, StrongSage versus Tox. I have talked about Tox earlier today, saying that as much as he is experienced and a strong player and a combat heavy, aim heavy player, I just don't see him taking it seriously enough. He might do that on LAN, but whenever I was watching him play, for example, the qualifiers for this finals, every time all I saw is that he was just running around on the map, being very careless, relying on his combat and aim skills, and not really giving a shit about timing items, being in good positioning, maintaining control, stuff like that. But I'm not sure if it's gonna change at the event. It depends on how much he cares, seriously. Because he could do really well. But I just don't... I haven't seen him taking it seriously for so long now. And then StrongSage, he wants to show up and he wants to do really well. He's been somewhat overconfident at points, having like a big mouth against other QPL players. Personality-wise, I don't really fancy him, but skill-wise, I know he wants to prove himself. And I know that it's a good chance, and maybe his only chance to do really well at an event. So he's probably gonna give it his all to beat Tox. But can he? StrongSage is also a good aimer, and I think he's also a little bit more on the aggressive playstyle side compared to the slow and calculated. I honestly don't know how it will go, but I just feel like Tox will realize that it is a LAN and he needs to slow down a little bit and pay more attention to being in control. Even if he doesn't time, he just should at least be around the items when he needs to. So I just feel like Tox is gonna take this one. But we will see. You almost had to time me out if I didn't advance you. Well, I mean, just don't tilt at land, Sirius. You'll do well. Although, then again, you're gonna play against me. Feel free to tilt, okay? Just do whatever you want. It's okay. You'll probably beat Sparty most likely, and then you can start raging and tilting as much as you want. I don't mind it. Alright, moving on. Nosfer versus Chron. That's a tough one. That is a tough one. I have lost to Nosfer against Nosfer before on LAN. In 2000, what was it, 19, I believe? 2019 QuakeCon, I think, is when I lost against him. But that was kind of a weird match, because he was just like killing me once and then running away. And it was blood run, so he could do that. But I know he's good with the railgun, for example, so his aim is on point. But I haven't really played against him for so long, I have no idea how good of a shape he's in. And it's kind of the same goes for Chron. I have lost against Chron before as well in 2018, or was it 17? One of the Dream Hacks. I played against Chron and I lost against him, but that was again very long ago. The game was way different back then as well. I honestly have no idea which one would win this matchup. I really don't. Chron is more a slow and calculated kind of player. Nosfer is more of a aim-heavy, aggressive type, I think. I might be wrong, but as I said, it's been ages since I played against either of them. I can't really tell which one of them will advance. But looking at their next opponent, I believe Maxter would be able to beat either of them. Because Maxter has been improving a shit ton lately, especially since he moved to EU and he's been constantly playing and practicing and being able to play on low ping against pro players. He's been getting so much better and better. He's been hitting really hard, especially with the rail. And he is also a somewhat calculated player, I think. I have recently played against him in QPL, and although I won, I still lost the map. It was 2-1 in the end. But I feel like Maxter would be able to beat both of them. Nosfer and Chron. So I feel like it doesn't really matter which one I would advance out of the two from here to here, because I feel like Maxter is gonna win this one. Oh shit, hold on. I know I have really good paint skills, don't worry about it. I just feel like it's gonna be like that. I will leave a big question mark here. Make it red. Oops, wrong place. There. I'm also trying to catch up on chat. You think Ron would win against Nosfer? Sirius? Ope says Nosfer would win against Ron. So which one of you should I believe? But then again, as I said, I think Maxter would be able to beat either of them. Try using draw.io. I probably should have, but it's gonna be fine. It's good enough. Alright, moving on. Baxter versus Yup. This is again a weird situation. It's really hard to judge, because Yup has been playing from Argentina. His ping is like 200 on EU servers, so it's almost impossible to tell how good of a player he is, because he just cannot have his full potential playing on 200 ping. So I honestly don't know how good of a player he is. I know Baxter has been playing a lot, and I know he's been playing well and practicing and participating in certain tournaments every now and then and all that. But I feel like he is like still kind of a challenger level player. No offense really, but just my opinion. I don't think he is ready to be in QPL. I feel like other players are more worthy skill wise. So it is a very big question mark for me again between these two, because I just don't have enough information regarding Yup. It could go either way, but again, looking at their next opponent, I just feel like it doesn't matter really. There is of course lower bracket. We are just looking at the upper bracket at the moment, but there is lower bracket as well. I don't remember Baxter's performance at Iron Fist. What was his placement in the end? Yeah, Ron's performance is more stable, I feel like, compared to Nosfer's. But again, I just cannot tell. Like, these are all my opinions. It's not like engraved in stone. It's just, I think this is what it's gonna be like. And these matches, like some of these matches, I just honestly cannot tell. Even if you say that you think Ron is better overall, Nosfer can't surprise anyone. Like, he has beaten me before on LAN, so I just cannot write him down, you know, underestimate him. What tournament is this? This is supposedly the final bracket for QPL finals, according to Liquipedia. But again, I am unsure whether it is confirmed that it is an accurate bracket. Anyway, moving on. Chain versus Proximo. I have seen Proximo practice a lot, and he has been asking me to practice against him, and I have been practicing against him in the past, not long ago. But I just don't feel like he could win against Chain. Chain is very combat heavy. His aim is really good. Proximo's LG is strong, but I just feel like Chain is gonna overwhelm him with his aggression. And Chain can also pay attention to items, I feel like, more so than Proximo. So in my opinion, Chain is gonna be the one to advance between the two. He placed 11th at Iron Fist. That's not too bad. But I still don't see him beating Wenger. So either way, even if he beats Yup, I feel like Wenger is gonna beat him. Same as this situation here. Alright, moving on to round 2. Killson versus Garpy. Well, Garpy, you know I love you. Let me just start with that. But I feel like Killson is gonna take this one. My reasoning being is that Killson plays a certain play style that makes it really hard for his opponents to stay alive. He tends to rail a lot, and it's been like those rails are hitting. So I don't know if Garpy can find a way around it. Then yeah, maybe he has a chance to do well against Killson. But I just don't see it happening. Even I have no idea how I would tackle Killson. I have played against him not long ago in the RESP tournament, and I was having a really hard time winning. I barely won by a little bit, I don't even remember. It was very close, like it came down to the last map. And I am very familiar with how Killson plays. So I'm not sure about Garpy, but I just feel like Garpy won't really be able to find the answer for how Killson plays.
Crazy!
I might be wrong though. And then here we have DBE killing each other. How did the Iron Fist go? Which one of the two won? was it CNC or Dramis? Iron Fist invitation. CNC won that one. Hey Maxter. Alright, so apparently CNZ won at Iron Fist against Dramis, so we're just gonna make it easy on me without any shit talk and just move CNZ forward. And then here we have Avec versus SaiGib. I feel like Avec is gonna be the one taking that one for sure. I just don't see him losing against SaiGib. No offense to him at all, but just Avec has been so strong lately. Both his combat skills, his past experiences, he's not gonna be nervous on LAN. He's just gonna sit down, not give a shit and play his best, and it's gonna work. And he's gonna hit really hard, and he's gonna pay attention to timings and positioning and setting up traps and putting pressure on his opponent. So I just feel like Avec is gonna win this one without a question. Alright, we're gonna skip this one for now, for obvious reasons. Hey Sirius. And then move on to here. Tox versus Rafa. Again, it is really up to Tox how he's gonna approach his match, because if he's gonna continue the way he has been playing lately, just all aim, very little brain, seriously no offense, then yeah, he has no chance. No matter how hard he hits, maybe he wins one map, but he's not gonna win a best of 3 or a best of 5. I don't actually know what format is gonna be this round, but he's not gonna win, I don't think. It's just Rafa is gonna be able to counter his playstyle and adapt to Tox's aggressiveness and aim. just by playing differently, because Rafa is really good at adapting, and he will not give a shit that it's Tox. He will not give a shit that Tox's aim is insane. Rafa is just gonna have control, have good position, have superior stack, and Rafa has been hitting harder and harder lately. So I don't think he's gonna be out-aimed by that much when he has so much more stack advantage and a better position, and he will know where Tox is gonna come at him from. So I just don't know if Tox can do anything if he continues to play the way he has been. So Rafa, I think, is gonna advance there, and then, as I said before, I think Maxter is gonna win against either Nosfer or Hron. I don't know which one will advance here. And then down here we have Zenaku versus Chain. That's a tough one again. Yeah, what Rolly said is what I also feel like is gonna happen. Maybe Tox will have a strong start and gonna catch Rafa by surprise with his aim, but I just feel like as soon as Rafa has control, which he will eventually, because Tox doesn't care about control, so he will not show up at the items, or he will show up at the wrong times, or he will leave it up to chase for frags. I just feel like eventually, even if Tox has a good start, Rafa is gonna take over the control, and from then on Tox will have no chance. And the more Rafa is in control and more he puts pressure on Tox, the more likely Tox is gonna die. And as soon as he does, he's not gonna slow down, he's just gonna keep running at Rafa, but Rafa will maintain control and then just outstack him. So I just don't see Tox winning against him. I think we will also skip this one because Kaylee is in chat, and I would really like to get to Australia. In all seriousness, between Zenaku and Chain. Like I said earlier, Chain is a combat heavy player. He tends to play really fast and aggressive and relies a lot more on his aim than, for example, Zenaku does. And Zenaku has been improving a lot lately. Ever since he moved from Australia to Poland, he's been grinding the game a lot, and especially since he has been living at Garpy's, I feel like he has been improving a shit ton. I used to not have any trouble playing against him, but lately I have been losing against him even during tournaments. Like one of the latest Sparty tournaments, he won against me, for example. And a couple of months ago, let's say like half a year ago, I would be like kind of careless playing against him whenever I was playing, for example, ranked, and he was my opponent. And I really didn't care too much because I knew that if I just play my game, I will win no matter what. But lately I've been having to try hard against him, and even then I've been struggling to win because he has improved that much. He's been grinding the game a shit ton. He has been analyzing matches as far as I know, and he's been streaming a lot as well, so you guys are probably aware more than I am that he's been putting a lot into the game. His heart is in it as well. So I feel like because of all these things, he could find a way to counter Chain's aggressiveness. And Zenaku is hitting hard as well. He's not like someone that can be out-aimed easily. So Chain's combat skills might not be as much of an important thing in that matchup as it would be against someone who is like less combat heavy. Because I feel like Zenaku can handle himself when it comes to that, and he can also play characters like Scalebearer. Zenaku can, and he plays Scale really well. And I feel like Chain can get like not surprised by that, but just like Scale is always a really weird character to play against. Like, often you feel like you are in control, you have the good position, you can deal a lot of damage, but all of a sudden there comes a scale bearer bull rushing at you, and then there's no way for you to run away. You're gonna get hit by it, and then he immediately gonna like direct rocket you or point blank shotgun you or whatever. And then all of a sudden all that stack and superior position is down the drain, and there's a scale bearer in your face. What can you do? Not much. And Zenaku is really good at making these situations happen. So if it comes down to Zen playing scale against Chain, I feel like Chain is gonna be in trouble. And even if it's not gonna be a situation like that, like there's not gonna be a matchup like that, overall I feel like because Zenaku has improved so much, he by now has enough experience to know how to handle certain game styles, certain situations, like how to play against someone who is more aim heavy and more aggressive than what you are used to and all that. And I feel like he will be able to adapt, even if not from the get-go, but mid-game or by map 2. And overall I just feel like he will be able to beat Chain. So I'm gonna move him forward here. Right, there's only one match left in round 2 that I haven't done yet. Sirius, are you still around? Your sound is off? Okay, just cover your eyes as well, please. Ah, well. Like I said earlier, Sirius is a very aim-heavy player. I'm not saying that's all he can do, but he can do that really fucking well. Probably the best aimer in all of Quake right now. So if you are afraid of Tox's aim, then imagine playing against Sirius. I feel like I'm good at adapting, but it is really hard to adapt when even if one pixel of you shows on your opponent's screen and he hits you with a rail. Like, no matter how well I try to position or hide away or how much stack I have, if I get hit every second or so by a railgun. Saying nice words before I bury into the ground. Nah. Oh boy. I don't know. If he is gonna have as good of an aim as he normally does, then I'll have to play around it. Most likely just not challenge him for aim fights. Or if it is an aim fight, I'll try to make it so that I have superior stack, and even though he's gonna out aim me, I will hopefully win the fight against him because of the superior stack. But in order for me to have superior stack, I have to have control, and it is really fucking hard to have control if your opponent out aims me and you just can't get there alive to take mega and heavy. So I don't really know how I should be able to get to that point, to be in control, to have the superior stack. But I'm hoping that I will find a way around it somehow. Maybe by picking the right maps with the right characters. Maybe Sirius will be nice enough that he starts tilting or raging against me if I do something silly and it actually works in my favor. Wink wink. I don't really know. I feel like I should be able to beat you, Sirius, based on the previous results of all kinds of tournaments and events and all of that. But you can very well be a surprise. Well, I feel like I will beat you. I will be confident in myself. Somehow I will find a way to counter your aim. But surprise me, and surprise everyone else. I want to win. I won't let you win against me, I'm sorry. I'm just not gonna let you. Alright, moving on. Killson versus CNZ. I have been playing against CNZ a lot lately, I think, during certain tournaments. And I just feel like Killson is a stronger opponent for me than CNZ is. It might be different between the two of them, because, you know, everyone has their weaknesses, and maybe mine is more towards Killson's strengths than CNZ's. But I feel like Killson overall is just a better player. They are both very strong when it comes to aiming, but Killson's positioning is superior. And CNZ might get the items, but Killson is gonna be aware and he's gonna be there to punish him for it. So even if CNZ picks up a heavy, in return Killson is just gonna rail him twice. So in overall it will not be worth it for CNZ to contest for items unless he's gonna be able to hit back at least as hard. But the way Killson plays, I just feel like he's more experienced and he's just as good on LAN, so his rails are not gonna miss. Whereas CNZ might be a little bit nervous, like he has less experience on LAN, so the nerves might get to him. But overall I feel like Killson is just a better player, more experienced, and he hits really hard and positions. One of the best players when it comes to positioning. He might not be the best when it comes to timing items, but he is always aware about the items. He just positions himself in a different way. He doesn't position himself to get the item, he positions himself to see if you go for the item or not. If you don't, he will get the item. If you go for the item, he will be there to punish you from a superior position, from the high ground most likely. So I just feel like Killson is probably gonna take this one. Unless he has a bad day or CNZ does surprise everyone by, I don't know, out-aiming Killson and not having any nerves. But I just feel like Killson is gonna win this one. Alright, I'm gonna skip this one for now. Rafa versus Maxter. Maxter has been playing really well against Rafa even. I've seen him, what was it? One of the QPL matches he plays against him. I believe even it was 1-1 and the deciding map was Exile. Serious? I'm not even gonna answer that and give away my weaknesses. Anyway, so between Rafa and Maxter there was one QPL match in the previous season, I believe, where they were playing on Exile as the decider map because it was 1-1, and Maxter was actually in the lead against Rafa for quite a while, but in the last couple of minutes Rafa managed to turn it around and won the map. So I wouldn't count out Maxter because he can be a surprise, especially now that he has been playing from the EU and he's been practicing a lot and playing against really strong players all the time. He can be a surprise, but overall I just feel like Rafa is ready no matter who it is he's gonna play against. So I feel like Rafa should take it even if Maxter makes it close. That is my opinion. I'm gonna advance him here. Alright, Wenger Zenaku. This weekend Wenger actually lost to Zenaku in QPL 2-1. And I have not seen the matches, but I have seen a few clips of them, of the matches. And I feel like Zenaku was lucky here and there. And normally Wenger would be the definite winner between the two, I feel like. If they were to play 10 matches, then I feel like Wenger would win like 7 or 8 out of them at least. But every now and then Zenaku can play really well and surprise and be against the odds. But I feel like Wenger should be able to take this one. Even if I like Dave a lot, I also like Marco a lot, but it's just more likely for Wenger to win this matchup. If Wenger is gonna be able to be in good shape, because at the moment I'm not even sure if he is. I know he's been struggling a lot to practice properly because of real life stuff. I'm not gonna go into details, but the point is, I feel like lately we haven't really been seeing Wenger as when he's in his best shape. We have seen like handicapped Wenger play. I'm not trying to take away anything from Zenaku from this weekend, but I just feel like Wenger has much more in him than what he's been showing lately. And it's not really his fault. As I said, he has other stuff going on with his life right now. But I feel like if he can get ready by the event, he's gonna be a much, much stronger player than what you've been seeing of him lately. So because of that, I will make him advance here. Alright, now comes the RAISY match again that I can't avoid. Avec. I don't ever play against Avec. The only ever time I play against Avec is when we play our QPL match, and that's it. I never practice against him, I never see him play. I have no fucking clue about anything regarding him. I don't know how well he's been playing, how good of a shape he's in, how much he has been grinding the game, how prepared he is. All I know is that generally, like I said earlier in this matchup, he's just gonna come to the event, show up, sit down, be confident, feel comfortable. He has all the experience from previous events and all that. He won't have the nerves. He generally doesn't give a shit, I don't think. And he's just gonna play well. He's just gonna play in his best shape ever, I feel like, because he won't really feel any pressure. And generally speaking, he is a strong player. He's very aim heavy. He can be very aggressive, but he can also adapt really well. So I don't really know how I should approach this matchup. Because I will be nervous. I'm always nervous when it comes to events, and I feel like maybe it will get to me, because I know that I have been losing to Avec in the previous few seasons in QPL matches. I've lost to him this season, I've lost to him in previous season, and I never really play against him otherwise. So based on that, I should be the one losing. But based on LAN results, I have been second, unfortunately, way too many times already. So it is really hard to tell. If I can get to that point where I feel like I'm ready and prepared, like right now I feel like I'm in good shape, but as I said earlier in this stream, there's still a lot to practice on for me. Whether it's champions that I should practice more to be more confident with them, or for example timing the items, because I'm good at timing the items if I do it, but sometimes I just don't do it. I just run around and play the game and have fun, and I just play by feel, and I don't pay attention to timings. I just show up at items when I think they are about to spawn, and that's not good. I want to be accurate. I need to be accurate, so I have to time. But am I gonna be able to get myself to time? I really fucking hope so. I will be really mad at myself if I just can't get myself to do it. Because it's a QPL final, RAISY, come on. Get your shit together. If I can time the items and I play slightly more carefully than how I do it nowadays, then I shouldn't run into direct rockets as much, I shouldn't fall out of the map as much, stuff like that. So if I can do that, that immediately would help a shit ton. And on top of that, I feel like my aim has improved since the last finals because of my sensitivity change. My map pools are similar, but I'm just more experienced on certain maps. My champion pool is wider. I can play characters I wasn't able to play before. Granted, maybe I am a little bit behind compared to other pros when it comes to playing Slash or Athena or Scalebearer, but by now I have learned to play them, just maybe not to that degree, where, like, for example, Avec is certainly a better Slash player and stuff like that, but I can also play Slash when it comes to that, so I won't be uncomfortable if I get to play Slash, if I have to play Slash. Anyway, it is really hard for me to judge the outcome of this match. I feel like I should be the one winning, but Avec has been beating me the last couple of times I matched up against him, but I should be winning. You know what? I will feel confident, and I will advance here. I won't give up. I will make it happen, no matter what. I'm not trying to be cocky or anything like that. I never really was an egoistic person, but I am someone who loves to compete, and it will drive me that much more to beat him and not lose against him. So I decided I will beat him. So I will beat him. What makes Avec win against me? I'm not sure, but he has been for the last couple of times in QPL. Yeah, I'm just having fun predicting the tournament based on the bracket that Liquipedia has provided us. It might not even be accurate or the correct and confirmed bracket, but if it is, then we are just making some predictions for fun. Alright, so these are the final 4 in the upper bracket that I expect to make it here. Let's start with Rafa versus Wenger. That's a tough one again. Rafa has been beating Wenger. I don't even know if Wenger has ever beaten Rafa in a tournament ever before. I'm not sure if he has. But I know that Rafa has been beating Wenger in previous QPL matches. And on paper, Rafa is more favorable as well. And as I said, Wenger hasn't really been himself lately. So it's like almost impossible for me to know how well Wenger will play. He can be one to beat Rafa. He can be someone to beat Rafa. But is he gonna be? I'm not sure. I will of course root for my teammate, but I don't know. Has he ever beaten Rafa? I don't know if he has. I know that last finals, the QPL he has won, he didn't have to play Rafa. I beat Rafa and then Wenger beat me. So technically, he didn't beat Rafa, but he won the tournament. I don't know. I feel like I will give it to Rafa. Oops. I forgot one line here. There, my master paint skills. There we go. Alright, and up here we have Killson versus RAISY. Wenger wins low difficulty. Wenger kicked Rafa's ass in 2v2. That doesn't really count. Alright, Killson. In the last tournament I played against him, I won, but only barely. Prior to that, I have lost against him in this season's QPL 3-0. He beat me. Granted, all the maps were close, but still. But based on LAN results only, I have been beating Killson almost every time. Even the one time he beat me, I was only sent down to lower bracket, and then later on I have beaten him when I was facing him against him during that same tournament. So even though he beat me there, I kind of beat him back, so it was like, meh. But overall, I have beaten him more times than he has beaten me, especially at events. I have beaten him at, what was it, DreamHack Denver. I have beaten him at QuakeCon 2019. When did I play against him other than these two? I can't remember. Point is, on paper, I should be the one winning against him overall, especially because it's LAN. Because online, he has been beating me every now and then, yes. And there were times when he was beating me easily. And the last couple of times I've met him online, it was very close. Like, even if when I won, I only barely did. And in QPL this season, he beat me 3-0. Even though all 3 maps were close, it was still a 3-0. So, hard to judge. Hard to judge. But I am aware of his playstyle, so I could maybe adapt to it and build my game style around countering it. Unless he changes it, I know what I'm up against, so maybe I can find an answer and beat him. I feel like I should be able to, especially because it is LAN. And on LAN I have beaten him more times than he has beaten me. So I feel like it is more likely for me to win against him, even if it's Killson, even if he's in good shape. And I'm not trying to be full of myself or anything, but just based on all these things that I mentioned prior. But we will see. So maybe it will look like this, the bracket, the upper bracket. Am I gonna make a prediction about this match? No, I won't. We've seen this match happen too many times and not with good outcomes for me. So no, I won't. But this is just the upper bracket. There is gonna be lower bracket, and you know, there can be upsets happening. I might not even get, you know, through these matches like I predict. We'll see. But you know, I just thought it would be fun to go through these predictions to see what I think about the finals. And I tried not to be biased, and I tried to come up with all the reasoning behind my choices, and I feel like this is more or less accurate unless upsets are gonna happen. Granted, if it is the bracket that we're gonna play based on. We will see. Alright, that's it for this session. Let's go back into Quake.